Hello, beautiful podcast community. It's your girl, your host, Jocelyn. Y como siempre, as always, I'm so grateful you are here tuning in. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome as well. Again, I am just so grateful for each and every single one of you that are tuning in. If you end up enjoying this conversation that we're about to have, or if you've enjoyed a past conversation from this podcast, I humbly ask that you head on over to Apple Podcasts and drop a rating and a review for your girl and to help grow this community. It really, really helps to have reviews, have ratings, and cultivate that love on Apple Podcasts. So if you head on over to the Starting with Gratitude page, scroll down, you'll find the stars and the comment box waiting for you to share and show your love. In our last one-on-one conversation, episode 53 to be precise, we talked about identities. Part of what I shared with you in that conversation is that often our identities become our limitations because most of the time when we identify with an identity, we believe that that identity is all that we are. I shared that we become attached to not only our identities, but the standards and expectations that are tied to those identities that we are identifying with. And we build our whole lives, our whole personalities around them. I'm not going to completely reiterate what I shared with you in that conversation in episode 53, but if you haven't heard it yet, I definitely recommend that you check it out, that you listen to it, that you tune in, because it honestly was a really great conversation. And it's somewhat of a part one to this part two. Initially, that conversation was going to be about what this conversation is going to be about, which is my gratitude in experiencing myself. I am grateful to experience Jocelyn. And I'd like to make it clear that I am using third person intentionally as a way of practicing non-attachment to myself, as a way of acknowledging that Jocelyn is an experience I am experiencing, just like how every other human I interact with in this life is an experience I am experiencing. Similar to how we attach ourselves to our identities and the standards and expectations that they come with, when we attach ourselves to ourselves, we end up also attaching ourselves to the experiences, the traumas, the mistakes, the losses, the wins, the emotions that we come with. It makes it harder for us to be able to take the seat of the observer and witness our thoughts, ourselves, our lives. It makes it harder for us to move on, for us to heal, because we are attached to ourselves and all our humanness comes with. And if you think about it, our attachment to ourselves is also a mere reflection of our attachment to others, a mere reflection of the tendency we have to attach ourselves to the people we align with and to the experiences we have with them. We, again, make all of these attachments a part of our identity, and or perhaps all of these identities a part of our attachments, and create these limiting perceptions of who and what we are. I mark summer 2020 as the official beginning of my most recent and most significant spiritual awakening, an awakening that is still ongoing, by the way. After that summer, I dove into the deepest shadow work I had ever done. What that shadow work at that particular time primarily consisted of is me confronting my codependency, me confronting my tendencies to become so attached to people, places, and things. One symptom or result of a spiritual awakening is you awakening to the ways in which you inflict suffering upon yourself by creating attachments, by identifying with identities. And so when you awaken to the truth that your attachments and your identities primarily placed upon you by society, are causing you to suffer, you begin to do the work of non-attachment, of no longer identifying with these identities. you're realizing you no longer resonate with. You're realizing are limitations to the limitless being that you truly are. So then you find yourself in this very uncomfortable, awkward, sometimes even depressing state of transition and transformation between who you are no longer and who you are becoming, where you feel disassociated and alone as you are stripping away your attachments and identities and becoming bare in your truth. You begin questioning life and who you are and what even matters. This transitional state ends up becoming a season of you rediscovering, or rather remembering, your true self, getting to know your true self. And the healing and awakening continues as you learn what has been holding you back from being truly you all along. Something I've reflected on a lot in my life and continue to reflect on is how in the world I've managed to remain good hearted after everything that I've been through, because I have gone through some incredibly traumatic experiences throughout my whole life. And yet, none of these traumatic experiences have ultimately disempowered me. In fact, they've all empowered me in different ways. One thing I realized has really helped me remain good hearted is in having compassion and empathy for myself. And honestly, that therefore gives me the ability to have compassion and empathy for others. But more specifically, what has really helped me is taking the seat of the observer and acknowledging all the experiences that Jocelyn has been through, validating how Jocelyn feels, understanding, getting to know why Jocelyn is the way that she is, and having compassion and empathy for her. This practice of seeing myself outside of myself, this practice of non attachment, has not only allowed me to have compassion for myself, to have compassion for Jocelyn, which therefore has gifted me being honestly my own greatest supporter and admirer, but has also allowed me to not attach myself to my traumas, to Jocelyn's traumas, has allowed me to not make my traumas, Jocelyn's traumas, a part of my identity. And therefore has allowed me to heal, has allowed me to learn, has allowed me to grow from them. I will literally think of myself in third person often, like Jocelyn has been through so much and I am so proud of her. And I feel it's actually very healthy for us to do that, for us to think of and refer to ourselves in third person, because again, it allows us to take the seat of the observer, to practice non attachment. So, all this said, y'all, I am so grateful to experience Jocelyn in this lifetime. She has developed my soul so much. She is so wise and so intelligent and so open hearted and so open minded. It's honestly had me often wondering how many lifetimes her soul has lived and experienced to arrive to this level of conscious awareness. Jocelyn is such a cool experience, a challenging yet rewarding experience. I'm really going to miss being her and experiencing her once I transition from this lifetime. I've been doing these little gentle reminder TikTok videos. And one of the recent gentle reminders that I shared is that we are a once in a lifetime. You are a once in a lifetime. You are never going to happen again. You, with this personality that you have, you, with these experiences that are shaping you, you, with this body that is gifting you the human experience, are never going to happen again. It is all a one of one. You are all a one of one. And when I really sit with and think of this truth, like, wow, Jocelyn Valencia, this Jocelyn Valencia is never going to happen again. I just feel so incredibly grateful to be experiencing me, to be experiencing Jocelyn. It makes me love and admire and enjoy Jocelyn and her personality and her quirks and her body and her being so much more because I realize just how temporary she is, how special she is, how unique she is. It's a miracle that I get to experience her. It's an honor. And then you think about how everyone else is a once in a lifetime too, and how they're never going to happen again after this lifetime. And it's just mind blowing. We really are all just so incredibly special. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and this expression of gratitude. Part of my intention in sharing these words and reflections with you is to inspire you to practice non attachment, to love and honor yourself, to observe and see yourself in a new and profound and healing way. I thank you so much for listening. I thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to our next conversation. Sending you love, peace, and blessings. Your girl, your host, Jocelyn.